Hello, friends. Welcome to our first podcast. This has been a busy week. It is the first full week of our campaign, and we've been quite busy. As you can see, if you're driving around the valley, I have quite a few of my big signs up. Quite a few yard signs have been distributed and are in people's yards. I have a lot more little signs of the yard signs, so please reach out on our website if you would like a sign, or just email me, electpamforkids@hotmail.com. The website is electpamforkids.com. So in this episode of a podcast, I don't have a guest today. That is coming. Again, if you also are interested in being a guest on this podcast, and you are interested in education, we're keeping everything educationally related topics since this is a run for the school board. But just reach out again, email me, or go on our website, and there is a contact page on the website. So tonight I'm going to get into why am I running for re-election. I mean, I've served for almost 4 years. This is a 4-year term. It has been very busy. I've learned a lot. I have been so excited to represent parents to our school district, and also our district to our parents in our community. My most important goal, my reason for running the first time and to run for re-election, is for the children in our community, the children who are in our school districts, the children who perhaps go to private school or are homeschooled, and yet they are still in our community and they interact with children in our district. So I'm running for re-election to continue to do the good work and the vital work for our kids, our families, which includes our parents. When I say families, it's parents, guardians, siblings, it's our grandma, grandpa, all who surround our children, and also for our community. It is imperative that my work with the board and the district continue for high academic achievement in our children, to fight for parental rights, local control, fiscal responsibility, accountability, and transparency. These all need to continue. And all of them are at risk should my seat flip. I truly believe that our children are the future of our community, and they deserve a public school district that will protect them, that will partner with their families, again, their parents, their guardians, grandma, grandpas, all surrounding our children, and prepare them to be productive and healthy citizens. Very quickly, these first graders, fifth graders will be working in the workforce. They will be those elected. They will be our bosses. They will be our new employees. They are the children who our children play with. It is vital that they are protected, that they are educated well, and they are prepared to pursue the best future that they are able and that they desire. Our district is far from perfect. Central Valley School District, we've done a lot of work. We've made a lot of very positive progress, but we do have a lot of work to do. So I won't say that we're perfect, but I'm very proud of the work we have done, especially in the last few years. Under increased academic achievement, this is very exciting because our children lost a lot of learning during COVID when we went online, when they were locked up at home, and parents are trying to work, or they're also trying to work from home. It was quite a mess, and we did see significant learning loss in our children. We are seeing that increase finally. We're seeing them catching up to grade level. We're seeing them catch up to what they missed. So our superintendent, Dr. Parker, he came on as a new superintendent during my first year on the board. And one of the first things that he did is he ensured that we had high quality curriculum that met the state standards for curriculum, but also that it was implemented across the district and implemented entirely and implemented in the same way. So his goal was that a fourth grade student in a different classroom, or across all fourth grades, this is an example, fourth grade student at Liberty Lake, fourth grade student at Broadway Elementary, they would all be taught the same thing, that he could walk into a classroom and he could see that they are all being taught the same. Now, obviously, our teachers need academic freedom. They're vital. Our teachers have a lot of experience and knowledge. So there is academic freedom within the curriculum, but he wanted to put an end to teachers doing their own thing. So that's what he first did. And now he has started professional learning communities that the board has been very vital in implementing. And we also have been learning about the board's role in these professional learning communities, which are the PLCs. So this is collaboration between grade level teachers, between the science teachers and high school math teachers, so like teachers that teach the same thing, collaborating. And they are doing professional development. They are learning from each other. They are analyzing students who are doing well and giving them extra work to push them, and our students who have not met their learning objectives. They're analyzing that and determining what else they can do so that those students can be brought up to grade level. So I was in the schools a lot in March for the Meritorious Awards, and I heard from numerous teachers and some principals, so the administrators in our buildings, that for the first time ever, they were very, very excited, and they were so proud to show their work. They said for the first time in a very, very long time, they are seeing significant gains in academics. Now, we have not ran the state testing. We don't have the state testing results yet to show this, but to hear it from our teachers, as I was in the schools on March, and teachers and principals, and how excited they were to share that, oh my gosh, this is working. The implemented curriculum and the PLCs are working. So we definitely are supporting that. The PLCs, along with that, are school improvement plans. We call them SIPs. Now, those are required by the state. And in the past, it was one of those things that was done at the beginning of the school year, and we really didn't look at it again until the end of the school year. And we got a big, large report. It was actually hard to determine which schools had met their goals. So myself and the board, we said, no, this is not okay. We want to know, we want more reports on the school improvement plans, and we want them to be the meat and potatoes of what they're doing in our schools. So our schools did. We have also district improvement plans. They're called DIPs, a little hilarious name, but it starts with a district improvement plan heading down to the school improvement plan. But what the schools have done especially this year, is they're really focusing on measurable goals that their school needs and how can they get there, and they're reassessing it throughout the year. So I'm very excited. Here coming up, we're going to start hearing about how the SIPS plans have gone this year. We are actually also going to start going into buildings and seeing what they're doing firsthand, and talking to the teachers and the administrators and the boots on the ground in the schools. So between the SIPS plans and the PLCs, that is all, they're both helping to increase academic achievement. The school board, we also did a lot of work on an attendance policy. It took us about 6 months to get that passed because there were a lot of discussions. There's obviously a lot of emotions about what is excused and what is not excused, and what do we do if a student isn't coming to school. Since COVID, nationwide, school districts have seen issues in attendance. I mean, we were, a year of saying you don't need to come to school, and now we're saying, no, you need to come to school. So there's just been that how do we get our kids back to school? And part of that is we want our kids to want to come to school. We need our parents to want to send the kids to school. So there's a lot revolving around attendance, and increasing attendance is part of a lot of our school SIP plans. And so all of this together, along with our work and the sense of belonging that we did a couple years ago, it's helping to increase academic achievement. Because a child who comes to school and doesn't want to be there will not reach their fullest potential. A student who is coming and they're stressed about something, whether it's students or somebody at home, will not reach their fullest potential. So that's a very quick overview. We also have a lot of different tier support for kids who need it. We have plans for special education kids who need a little extra support, but that is just a couple of items. Somewhat related to is Central Valley School District has also always had a cell phone policy, but it was not implemented. So the district developed a committee of teachers and parents. I believe we even have some student input on this. And that was for the purpose we needed buy-in, because cell phones, you start touching people's cell phones or kids' cell phones, and people get upset very easily. Including parents who want to be able to get a hold of their child, and I'm guilty of that. I have a high schooler still in Central Valley School District, and if I want to text her, I want to text her. So it's a learning period for even the parents, that we need to understand when their lunch periods are. We need to understand when they're done with school, and that's when we would text them. And we really need to get the buy-in of the kids, because they would much rather be on their device. So that's why we did a committee, and we have passed a cell phone policy that is very restrictive for cell phone use in school. It's not allowed in the elementary school or the middle schools, and the high school it's only allowed at lunch. So obviously these children can have it in their backpacks. It can be taken out for emergencies only, but we are reverting back to parents need to call the office in case of emergency, and otherwise their child can contact them at lunch. So we're really hoping that also most of our schools have already done this on their own, even before we went through the committee and the policy. And what we are hearing back from our high school students that they have done this, had the cell phone restriction all year, is that initially they really opposed it, obviously, like any of us who say we couldn't have our cell phones, but that they're seeing that kids are really connecting, that they're connecting with their peers more. They're talking about eye contact and talking. They're talking about classrooms. They're talking about more interactive socially. And so they actually really appreciate not having the cell phones during school. Teachers are saying the kids are paying attention more in class. I see that. I teach college students, and I wish we had a cell phone ban, because I see kids on their cell phones all the time during class, and then they do poorly on a test, and it's like, well, maybe you should have listened better during class instead of being on your cell phone. So increased academic achievement, we are getting there. We're working hard for it. There's a lot more to do, but that is a primary goal of our entire board and district. It's very close to my heart. We have got to have our children who achieve to their highest level and the support to do that. We also at Central Valley School District, we have opened up new avenues, non-traditional avenues, especially for our high schoolers. We have total virtual school, we have parent partnerships, we have an alternative high school, we have a STEM Academy high school, and we have 3 of your traditional high schools. So we're really trying to capture kids and put them where it best works for them to learn. So being a public school, but we have choices. We have choices for our kids. Parental rights, this is huge. Parental rights are paramount to a child's success. Parents and guardians, I do believe parents and guardians, families are the primary stakeholders in their children's education and everything related to their children. The district, we must respect that parents are these primary stakeholders. There's a lot of thought that teachers are surrogate parents when the children are at school, and I totally disagree with that. I love what our teachers do. I love how our teachers love on our kids and teach our kids, but they're still not their parents. And it is the teacher's responsibility to keep them safe and to teach them, but it is the parents' role to be the primary decision makers for their kids. So I pushed for, when we looked at the sexual education policy a couple of years ago, it was mandated by the state. It was mandated starting in 4th grade. So we assured in Central Valley School District we were minimally meeting the law. So that means we're not teaching it in kindergarten, 1st or 2nd grade. And even other aspects of the sex ed curriculum we are minimally meeting. And I also pushed for strong opting out, because parents can still opt out of the sex ed curriculum. However, how do you opt out if you don't know? So I asked the district to notify parents frequently and give them a lot of options to opt out. Now, they have not done that, but they did do a online form where parents just have to sign up once, and then their child is opted out for good, unless the parents decide to change and opt back in. So at least they have done that. So our recent, in the legislative session in our state recently was quite cumbersome for our school district, and parental rights is one of those. So they decimated the parental rights bill that was just passed just last year that recognized parents as the primary stakeholders of their children. So this is concerning because it is giving the school districts authority to basically provide any medical treatment that they want without parental permission, to remove kids from the schools without parental permission. It's limiting parents' access to records. It's limiting the notification if there was an altercation or even an assault against their child at school. So we as a board, we had a couple of meetings on this, and we wrote a resolution and letters and advocated heavily to the state to please not pass this, to respect parental rights. However, they ignored the citizens' requests. There were numerous other citizens that rallied against this, and they passed it. So we are in this period now to determine what exactly that means for us. But as myself and other conservative board directors, we want to ensure that we respect parental rights. So if we have the ability to say we are not going to give your child medical care without your permission, that is what I will push for, and that is my goal, because we are a school district. We are in the process of educating your child, not giving them medical care, especially without parental permission. Now, obviously, if there's an emergency at school and we need to call an ambulance, that is totally different, and we already have policies on that we are able to do that should an emergency occur. Fiscal responsibility. We have, shortly after Dr. Parker started his job, he expressed concern over the district's budget. And he has worked very hard, along with the financial administrative staff, the business staff at Central Valley, and especially with the board, working very hard with the board to turn that around. So a couple years ago, we did lay off a significant number of teachers to balance a budget. We actually had higher level of teachers left over from the COVID era than what we had before COVID. So we just right-sided the amount of teachers, but that did require a layoff, and that was very difficult. I appreciate that our HR department was very respectful in how they did that, and we have hired back numerous of those teachers as we, other teachers have retired or moved on, and we needed holes to fill. So I believe that we must ensure that our taxpayer dollars are used for their intended purpose and they're used wisely. We must ensure fiscal responsibility. So when we do a budget every year, and there's a lot to a school budget, it's hundreds of pages long. There's a lot of different funding sources and a lot of different payouts, and the funding sources come at different times. So there's just a lot related to our budget. However, I've done a lot of research. I've calculated and worked with our budget team, sat down with the CFO. What are you seeing? What do we need for money as we prepare each budget? Now, the levy's gotten a lot of attention because we all got our new tax bills this spring, and I also am not happy about how much I have to pay in taxes. However, I respect what the voters voted for. So when we were looking at what levy amount, I was doing a lot of calculations and again reaching out to our business team, and I still don't believe that we needed the highest amount that was put up. Now, I trust their expertise though, and that's what they came and said, that we needed to run our school district to keep things as it is. So that is what they brought forward. And you can see in meeting minutes on that meeting back in November 2023 that I said I verbalized it again at the vote that I think we should have a lower amount, but I will put this to the voters. So I want our voters to decide whether they want this levy, because it's going to cost them. Or it can cost them in what the district has to cut if the levy doesn't pass. But I directed the district that this campaign that they're doing, the information sessions they're doing, it will be honest and it will be informed. And it will be full of facts. So that is so that our voters can make an informed decision. So I said, I want the district to say, this is what this school district will look like with the levy, and this is what it's going to cost you, and this is what our school district will look like without the levy, and this obviously would be the savings, because everything's calculated on per thousand of your assessed home value. And I must say the district did phenomenal at this. Dr. Parker and his staff, they went out and that's just what they did. They said, this is where your levy pays for. This is what it will fund if it passes. I pushed to get a calculator on the website so people could go to our website and put in their assessed home value and know what the increase would be over the current operating levy. So this is all the operating levy, the EP&O that I'm talking about, that comes up every 3 years. A big part of this levy is salaries. So our state only funds us for a certain amount of our teacher salary, only funds us for a certain amount of janitors and nurses and paraeducators. And we at Central Valley, our community has said we want more than that. So it comes out of levy dollars. Now with the capital levy, we were given 3 choices. This is to replace some roofs, to build safety vestibules, and also all of we bought a lot of Chromebooks during COVID, or the district did. I was not elected then, but they bought a lot of Chromebooks, and they're aging out. So a technology refresh, and we had some security cameras that needed to be updated. So we were given 3 choices, and I opted for the lesser amount, and I said that's what I would like, and you can use excess from the general fund to pay for anything extra that is needed for the capital fund. But the other board directors opted to vote on the most expensive capital levy, and so I voted against it for those reasons, that I felt like we could have a lower capital levy amount. So everything we do as a board is a board decision. We have our individual things that we push for, individual desires, but once the decision is done, it is the board's decision, and that's what carries forward. So the capital levy was funded along with the EP&O. Well, it was put on the ballot and both passed, and so now they are being funded, as we all are seeing on our taxes this spring. So what we are doing with the capital levy is, again, to be fiscally responsible. We're getting bids. We also, as a board, under the direction of the district, that they brought to us this, it is basically a short-term loan, so that we can get all of the work done faster at the current construction cost, because current construction inflation has been soaring, and the interest rates have come down, so that it would save us about, I don't want to quote out on the paper, but just under $2 million by doing this, and we will get the work done faster. So you can see right now there is construction going on, starting on some of the vestibules at our elementary and middle school, Green Acres Middle School, and a couple elementary schools. There's some roofing projects. There's some playground refreshing, playground equipment that needed to be replaced, some sidewalk work that needed to be done, stadium lights at Central Valley High School that need to replace. So there are things going on. These are all on our website. If you're curious exactly what's going on with your capital levy dollars, we are also going to start putting signs up, kind of like the highway department does. It says, thank you for funding this, so that you know where your tax dollars are going. Because again, I want to be accountable and transparent, and so does the board, and so does the district. And especially Dr. Parker came to us saying he wanted to be accountable and transparent to our community and to our taxpayers. So every month we get budget updates. So those are all on our board docs. They're easy to access. If you go to the Central Valley School District and go to school board and then go to board docs meetings, you can click each meeting and you can see in there the budget updates. On top of that, there's a lot of just budget information and levy information that is still on the district's website. That ties into communication, accountability, and transparency. So one of the very first things that I pushed for when I was elected is better communication, better collaboration with the community, because that was not occurring previously. So the district responded, and we've done community forums, we've done links, we've done sent out, which is kind of like a newsletter. We've had, I guess you could call them town halls, to discuss certain topics. One was the budget, and one was a gender inclusive policy. So to discuss concerns that our community has on some of those bigger subjects. We also transitioned all of our board emails to Central Valley School District emails, so that they're easier for district staff to access should there be a public records request. Again, to be accountable and transparent in that. Our board docs and our website have a lot of information. I heard from somebody who is involved with education in the county, and this person told me that that Central Valley School District is by far, we put out the most information that is the easiest to access of any of the school districts in our region. So that was good from a third party to hear that. I'm constantly in communications, when Dr. Parker or the district says, shows us something, or we discuss something in a meeting, that please, I want this on the, can this for sure at least be in board docs, but could it be on the website if it's important enough, so that our community has access to it. We've also started doing board updates once a month, so that those are showing up on our website and also going out in social media too. Local control. Everything really that we have done on the board, we need local control, and the state is slowly taking that away from us. So school boards were initially in the law developed set up to be that elected local voice to the school district, so that our community could come in and talk about or request, what do we want for curriculum, what do we want for policies, how do we want our school district funded. But what has happened, unfortunately, is the state has come in and said, you will do this in curriculum, you will do this in policy. And so that's why we've done a lot of pushing back with the state. We've done a lot of resolutions, a lot of some letters. We've done, signing in and saying this is not going to work for our school district. Most recently, we have done a couple of different things related to Title IX, which is girls' sports. We focus on just girls' sports. And then also local control in our curriculum. So it's imperative that we really still need to be the local voice for our community. I continue to say that the school board should be this bridge between the district and the community, where our community comes to us with concerns and we take it to the district, and then the district tells us how that can or can't work, and we bring it back to the community. And that's really my goal. It was my goal before when I was running the first time, and it is what I continue to do. That if I hear of something or there's a concern, I bring it to the district. And if there's something that we're doing at the district level, I bring it back to the community and say, we can or we can't do this, and this is why or why not. And a lot of times it is because the state prohibits us to do that. That said, because we want our local control, because there are things the state is doing that our community as a whole does not want, so we have pushed back. Now, some people want us to push back to the risk of losing our funding from the state. And that is just irresponsible, because then we would be closing all of our schools and we'd have 14,000 kids and a lot of employees out of school and out of work. So we push back and we've against the state and say, please stop. This is what we need. We recently did get the federal government, sent a letter to the Office of Civil Rights asking for the federal government to come in and help, because we have both the federal government and the state government telling us what to do that are opposing in views and both threatening to pull our funding. So tying with fiscal responsibility is to ensure that we keep our funding, but also that can be at odds with parental rights, and it can be at odds with local control. So we're just balancing all of those together to do the best job that we can. So I also wanted to address, maybe I'll address that in the next podcast, since we're almost at a half an hour here. I just am so excited. I really am so excited. This is a lot of work. The school board is a lot of work. You have to have thick skin, because to do the hard things, people that don't agree with you will let you know that they don't agree with you. However, again, I just wanted, my takeaway is the kids are first. The kids in our community deserve a quality education where they're safe, where their parents are respected, where community voices can be heard, where we are fiscally responsible with the money that our taxpayers have entrusted to us. So that way that we can fund our programs that we need, we can fund the teachers and the staff that we need, and yet we don't overfund and we don't do over what we need. So again, thank you very much for joining me. Happy first week of our campaign, and stay tuned for more podcasts.